A man getting you pregnant while he cannot find the generational wealth to give to the children that you and him will be creating together is financial abuse. And it is very selfish of you as a woman to willingly go into relationships not thinking about the future benefit of the children you will be creating from those relationships. I know that a lot of people are concerned about this whole decline in childbirth issues, but majority of these men, they are not thinking practical as they claim. Okay, they are being very emotionally led, and it shows that a lot of their arguments are mainly in defense of them getting sexual accessibility. Because you telling women that they are supposed to get into relationships, get pregnant, suffer while raising children to figure things out just to put some mini humans into the system to bring up back birth rates. It makes no sense if you are trying to break poverty cycles, because y'all are the same ones who were not giving these children generational wealth to start life with in the first place. That is why we are at this point. I am convinced that some of you have gone through terrible marriages, terrible relationships, terrible childhoods, and you want people now in this society who have chosen to not go through that. You want to convince them to have children to populate so that they can go through the same trauma and sufferings and survival mode that you went through. Some of y'all are evil and you know it. And these people are not at a capacity where most of them are even stable in income. Most of them don't even own houses, they are renting. And they are going to bring children into this world while they are trying to figure things out, while they are still getting to know themselves, while they are building something for the future. They are supposed to bring a child into the world and figure it out while raising children. How are they going to survive? How are they going to find food and then take care of a new born version of them? And they already have it hard to find food for themselves. Don't y'all realize that y'all are wicked? Because having a child would not even cross my mind for people who are living in a situation to go and tell them, oh, go and procreate. That is the solution to this birth decline. But over here is another bigger issue, right? A bigger issue like poverty and no generational wealth transfers, which continue to deepen the poverty gap. And all majority of y'all can defend is your rights to get sexual access to a woman's body. That's all majority of y'all are defending. Oh, it's your right to reproduce. Oh, it's your right to carry on a legacy. It's your right to have a child. So you are telling these people who are in survival mode, who are building from scratch, to go and have a child and figure things out in the meantime while you're struggling to survive. And then you're going to make things worse by having a child, slowing you down, slowing down your partner, because most women have to literally give up their jobs when they are pregnant. And if they don't give up their jobs, sometimes their health suffer because of it, right? And I'm not going to go into that part, but all of this sounds like a recipe for runaway fathers who are just going to basically say, hey, I can't deal with this. This is stressful, and abandon their newborn child on the mother. Or they're going to legit abandon the child while it's in the womb of the mother because they're like, this is stressful. And then you are left with depressed, pregnant mommies who are left to say, oh my gosh, I have been abandoned. We are still figuring this out. What am I going to do? Because now, not only were you trying to build from scratch and then you didn't reach anywhere, but now you have been abandoned by the other partner and you still have to survive. Remember, you have not been given any generational wealth to even give to this child. And this child is in the oven baking. So this is what y'all are encouraging in society, not to mention an increase in baby mama culture. Because when you are not promoting people to know themselves, get to know each other, be educated so that they can, get into purposeful, intentional marriages, then you are not really giving them good advice. You are just encouraging hook up culture. Just find somebody while you're growing, while you're going to school, while you're working. Just have a child and figure things out along the way. And this is severely damaging and the cause of a lot of these increase in men abandoning these women, right? So that's what y'all are encouraging when you are just coming out there. Y'all are giving too much excuses for not getting the birth rates up. Why is it that when y'all have finished school and gotten your degrees as women, this is what the men are saying, y'all don't go now and have these babies? Y'all are giving too much excuses. It's not right. And women this and women that, and women need to take accountability for their bodies. And isn't this taking accountability for their bodies? If they say that they are not interested to get pregnant or they are not interested in having children at all, it's their right. Why are you forcing and pressuring people who have said, okay, financially and economically, I cannot provide for an offspring. Therefore, I am opting out of creating one. That sounds like that person is thinking from a practical perspective. If only they would stop humping down the place like bunny rabbits. Because if you're going to choose not having children, just keep your legs closed and stop eating the babies, Okay, so back to the point. Majority of these men who are telling these women, go and have children, get in relationships, figure things out while you are trying to survive. I'm pretty sure if we checked it, majority of these men might be fathers of multiple children from multiple women. I'm pretty sure that if you ask majority of these men who are telling these women this and these men to do this, they probably are not married. I'm pretty sure that these men don't even live with none of the mothers of these multiple children that they have, I am pretty sure that these men, if asked, are they able to get married now and step up? Most of them would say they are not in the financial bracket to do certain things. Right? And let's give them the benefit of the doubt. If they are even married, because I have heard married men be honest and say, I do not have children with my wife because I cannot provide for a child. And they were honest about that. So why is it that the single men who don't have any responsibility but themselves, and most of them are out here, see, look at this comment. This person is like, I hardly can find money for food more while. So why me would even bring a child in this situation? Jamaica is just a cultural mindset thing and not thinking with common sense. This is a man. And this man said, more time, he cannot find food to provide for himself. And you are going to tell people, go and get in relationships and figure it out while they are single and are having a hard time providing for their single self. Make it make sense what you are telling these people. Y'all are wicked because that's bad advice, which will encourage a culture and a people to be in survival mode. Do you know what happens to couples in survival mode? Oftentimes, they don't even reach the point of marriage. And they struggle till those children grow up and those children leave the nest, have to start in life from scratch with nothing of inherent value, only probably teachings, if the parents even took the time to teach these children properly and train them up properly. Because some of these children are legit leaving the nest without common sense, without even some necessary training in even values and morals that they needed to learn. So even that, but y'all are here defending your right to get access to sexual intercourse. And then you wonder why these young people, after listening to a lot of y'all, have become hard-headed. Because when they start going out there, have seen the experiences of their friends who got pregnant and didn't have stability, how their lives turned out, they were turned off. When they heard our foremothers talking about how their marriages were basically abusive, and our foremothers basically wanted to leave, but financially they couldn't, that turned them off. And then when they see how a lot of these men don't even want to be providers, that's also a turn off. And there's many other factors, like, a lot of women having traumatic experiences in the hospitals, giving childbirth. It's a possibility that this woman may lose her life bringing a child into the earth. And then you're going to bring a child into this earth, not even having anything of generational wealth to pass on to that child, even if you were to lose your life on that labor bed. And all you guys can sit there and preach, woman fi breed, that is on a right. Stop being vain, una do up on a body. cosmetic surgery and you don't want to this and you don't want to get pregnant. And listen me, if the woman that you want don't want to get pregnant, maybe you just have to sit and wait. Okay? But forcing women who don't want to have children has gotten you exactly where it needed you to be. The woman eating the children, or either the woman abandoned y'all men with the children to be single fathers, or a whole other host of mess that could have been prevented if y'all had just stopped forcing people who told you more than one time they don't want children. Stop forcing them to have children. Because I'm pretty sure that even our foremothers thought that they had no other options. Because, see, this woman said, Grandma said, don't get married. Your generation has choices we never had. So these people, either our foremothers before and this generation now, they thought they didn't have choices. They thought that it was only what the toxic male said. It is the right of a woman to have a child and take care of family. That's what you are here for. But they are realizing that they do have other options. They have the option to be single, and they have the option to choose to marry. Okay? And even Paul said this when he said, I say to those who are single or are widows, you must remain pure, whether you decide to stay single or get married. So even our forefathers knew that people had a choice. Okay? So I don't know why this toxic male generation are operating as if women don't have a choice to stay single. When they hear, okay, women are celibate, they get angry and agitated. Your right to be here on this earth is to procreate and to marry and to cater to a husband. No, honey. Our forefathers were aware that people had the choice to remain single. What a lot of people lack today is the capacity to remain single. And if you choose to get married, then it's still your choice. No one should force you to go either or either way, because the choice is yours. So if you choose to marry, please choose your partners wisely, because these are the people that you will be spending quite a bit of your life with. Remember, you're basically saying till death do us part. Okay? Now you are coming into communion with somebody else. So you have to be wise and you have to know what you're doing. That goes for both the men and the women. So that if anything happens and you were not wise in choosing being spiritually led or rushing and you got it wrong and you ignored red flags, then you have no one to blame but yourself. And a lot of you men, you are out here complaining how majority of you are getting jackets, children that are not biologically yours. When you do the DNA test, you ain't the daddy. So that should be another reason why y'all should shut your mouths and stop forcing these women to get pregnant. Because you're still going to tell them that y'all don't care about your seed. You throw your seed all over. As this comment said, you have to be careful about your seed and where you are sowing your seed and not throwing your seed all over and then get mad if she eats the seed. Give it to somebody else because maybe that other person was more of a provider. That's why you take the time to get to know people and stop throwing your seed all over the place and stop forcing people to have your children. So y'all are pointing fingers. Women should take accountability for their bodies. Y'all should also take accountability for your bad choices too. Because when y'all are led by the flesh and you choose worldly women or women who also have no discipline and then give you jackets that are children that are not biologically yours, you can't complain, right? Because you did not take the requirements that you needed to make sure that you were not only disciplined, but you knew people and you were not forcing people to do things with you who are telling you, I don't want children. It is your right as a woman to, okay, well, when she gives you a jacket, don't complain because you're forcing these women to have children for you. So when you get other results that you did not count on getting, do not complain. Okay? Y'all are always saying, oh, but we men are practical. You're acting emotional because an emotional person would not see a red flag like that and say, okay, I'm going to value myself. If this person says they don't want children and I want children, then I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to believe they say who they are telling me that they are. Okay? I'm not going to get pissed and point fingers and say, but women need to make better decisions when it comes to their body and not point back a finger at self. Okay, that's being emotionally led when you can't take accountability and point back the finger at self. But you want to point up, down, all around. Women, 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 women. Yes, women do things, right? But this is also a part of men holding males at accountability. So y'all who are told when you are in the marriages, y'all should be the leaders. Why are you pointing fingers? The woman should this, woman should that, woman should this, woman should that. Y'all should also point back a finger at yourselves and say, how are you responsible for what is happening and how are you to be held at accountability as well? So other than not being able to pass on generational wealth to the child because y'all didn't take the time to build something before you started having children, you are going to have a repetition of cycles and patterns that did not work for our forefathers that is still going to continue. Okay? Because the abuse in the marriages, yes, financial abuse, mental abuse, not just the wives but even the children. A lot of these forefathers of ours, they literally abused their authority as husbands in the lives of their family, in relationship. They abused their authority. And a lot of our foremothers have come forward. They were expressing how those marriages was toxic, but they could not leave because they just didn't have the means to leave. Okay? So our generation that's hearing these things, that have witnessed these things, are choosing to opt out of getting into relationships because, yeah, they're traumatized. They seen some stuff. They felt like they observed some stuff, and then when these foremothers started come and confessing, they were like, okay, I knew something was up. And that was just the nail in the coffin for them. So you come in to tell a lot of these women to have children, and they, for one, do not or have not found men who they feel safe enough to have children with, and so choose to be sexually abstinent, is a good choice of hers because she knows what she saw growing up, certain things she wants to avoid, and traumas that she does not want in her marriage if she so does choose a partner. So these women want to feel safe, and majority of them who have been sexually abstinent or celibate because they have not found partners to make them feel safe have chosen to do so because to them mentally this is protecting them from a lot of issues that their foremothers went through. Okay? And then seeing this society now where a lot of the women are complaining, a lot of the men, even if you see their presence, they don't really show up as they should. And a lot of the men feel like because they provide financially, they have nothing else to offer, like mental support and spiritual support, emotional support, and a lot of other support that children need to grow into thriving, successful adults for life. And it's not like it's a lie what these women are saying. It's truth because I have heard for myself a man in his middle 40s who said he went to bed as a child crying at nights, asking why his parents brought him into this world to suffer because they could not provide for all the children that they had. And I think he grew up with around 4 or 5 siblings. Okay? He said that there were lots of times where his mother came in, gave these 4 or 5 children one box food to share amongst themselves, and they went to bed. And there were times when they just drank tea and went to bed. Nothing could be provided for them. He did not say whether the father came home and shared a meal with the mother, but he just said the mother came home with a meal and they shared it amongst themselves. And he heard his mother crying a lot of the nights. And he knew it was because she could not provide for them the way that she would have wanted to. And he felt it. And when he looked at how his father didn't really pull his weight as he could have, because he said, my daddy owned a taxi